It started with a missed call. Nothing unusual, just my own number, calling me, at 2:33 a.m. At first, I thought it was a glitch. Phones bug out sometimes, apps crash, numbers spoof. There's always a logical explanation. At least that's what I told myself when I saw it. I ignored it. Went back to sleep. The next morning, the call log was still there. 2:33 a.m., incoming call, me no voicemail, no duration, just the call. I laughed it off. But that night it happened again. I was awake this time, sitting in my room, scrolling on my phone, trying to stay up later than usual. At exactly 2:33 a.m., my phone started ringing. I froze. The screen lit up. Incoming call, me not unknown, not private number, my exact contact, my photo, my name, my number, calling me. My heart started pounding. I let it ring. Didn't answer. It stopped after about 10 seconds. Then immediately, it rang again. Same thing, same name, same number. This time I answered. There was silence. No static, no breathing, just empty audio. "Hello?" I said. Nothing. I almost hung up. Then I heard something. Faint. Very faint. A sound I didn't expect. Knocking. 3 slow taps, tap, tap, tap. My stomach dropped. Because the knocking wasn't coming through the phone. It was coming from inside my room, from the wall behind me. I turned slowly. The call was still active, the silence still there. Then, through the phone, I heard my voice, barely a whisper. "Don't answer." My chest tightened. "What?" The call cut. I didn't sleep after that. I sat in the corner of the room with the lights on, staring at the wall, waiting, listening. At 2:33 a.m., nothing else happened. But something had changed. The room felt wrong, like the space wasn't completely still, like something had moved inside it when I wasn't looking. The next day, I checked my phone again. There was a voicemail from the same call. I didn't remember getting it. I didn't remember seeing it before. But it was there. 2:33 a.m. voicemail. I hesitated before pressing play. Then I did. At first, there was nothing. Then a sound. Breathing. Fast. Panicked. Then my voice. Louder this time. Clearer. "Don't answer the next one." My hands started shaking. "What the hell?" The recording continued. A loud bang. Then something dragging, like something being pulled across the floor. Then my voice again, screaming this time. "It knows which one is you." The voicemail cut off. That night, I didn't stay in my room. I went to the living room, turned on every light, sat on the couch, waiting. At 2:33 a.m., the phone rang again. Incoming call. Me, I didn't answer. It rang for longer this time. 15 seconds. 20. Then it stopped. I exhaled slowly. Then my phone vibrated. A text message. From my own number. "Why didn't you answer?" My throat went dry. I stared at the message. Another one came. "You're making this harder." I typed back before I could stop myself. "Who is this?" The response came instantly. "You." I stood up slowly. "No." Another message. "Check the wall." I turned toward the hallway, toward my bedroom. The wall. The same one I had heard the knocking from. I walked toward it slowly. Every step felt heavier, like I was moving into something I wasn't supposed to see. I reached the wall. It looked normal. Flat. Still. Silent. Then my phone vibrated again. Closer. I leaned in, put my ear against the wall. At first, nothing. Then, a sound. Movement. From inside, like something shifting in a narrow space. Then a whisper. My voice. Right against the other side. "Don't listen to it." I jumped back, my heart racing. The phone vibrated again. "That's not you anymore." The wall made a soft, cracking sound. A thin line appeared in the paint. like something pressing from the other side. The crack widened slightly, and I saw it. An eye, looking through. My eye, but wrong. The pupil too wide, the expression too calm, too focused. It blinked slowly. Then the phone rang again. Incoming call. Me, I stared at it. My breathing shallow. The eye in the wall didn't move, didn't blink, just watched. The phone kept ringing. I didn't answer. The call stopped. Then immediately, it rang again. Incoming call. Me. The eye in the wall widened slightly. The mouth beneath it formed a smile. Then, from inside the wall, my voice whispered, "Answer it." My phone vibrated harder, like it was forcing me, the screen glowing brighter, the sound louder. I didn't want to, but I did. I answered. This time the sound was immediate. My voice, crying, panicked. "Please, please don't." A loud crash. Then something dragged again. Then the voice returned. Closer. Desperate. "It's inside the walls." The line went silent. Then another voice came through. Still mine, but calm, controlled. "You're listening from the wrong side." The wall behind me cracked louder. The line widened. More of the eye visible now. Then a hand, pushing through. My hand, but thinner, longer. Wrong. The voice on the phone continued. "You answered." The hand pushed further. The wall bulged outward, breaking, splitting, and I understood something that made my chest feel cold. The calls weren't coming from outside, they were coming from the other version of the apartment, from the other side of the wall, from the version where I didn't answer in time. I ran. Out of the apartment, down the hallway, didn't stop until I was outside, breathing hard, looking up at my window. Everything looked normal. Nothing moved. No signs of anything wrong. I stayed at a motel that night. Didn't go back. Didn't answer any calls. Didn't check any messages. For 3 days. Nothing happened. No calls. No texts. No voices. I thought it was over. Then last night, at 2:33 a.m., my phone rang again. Different number this time. Unknown. I stared at it. Didn't answer. It stopped. Then a message came. "We fixed the wall." My chest tightened. Another message. "Now we don't need it anymore." The phone started ringing again. Same unknown number. I didn't answer. Then I heard something. From inside the motel room, behind me, a knock, 3 slow taps. Tap, 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 from the wall. I turned slowly. The paint was already cracking. And from the other side, I heard my voice, closer than ever, right next to my ear. "You keep picking the wrong side." The wall split open, and something stepped through, smiling, using my face. Now I don't answer the calls anymore. I don't open messages. I don't get close to walls, but every night, at exactly 2:33 a.m., my phone still rings, and the voice on the other side sounds less like me, and more like something that finally learned how to be. I didn't go back to my apartment. Not after what I saw. Not after that hand started coming through the wall. For 3 days, I stayed in a motel on the edge of the city, barely sleeping, barely eating, jumping at every sound, like something was already inside the room with me. I kept my phone on silent, face down. I didn't want to see the screen light up, didn't want to read anything that came from that number, but that didn't stop it, because it didn't need the phone anymore. The first sign was the TV. I hadn't even turned it on. It was just there, mounted on the wall across from the bed. Black screen. Dead. At least it was supposed to be. At 2:33 a.m., it flickered. Just once. A brief flash of static. I froze. My phone buzzed on the nightstand. I didn't look at it. The TV flickered again. this time longer. The screen didn't turn on completely. It stayed mostly black, but something was moving inside it. Like a reflection, but not mine. The shape on the screen leaned closer, and I saw my face. Looking out from inside the TV, smiling. My phone vibrated again, harder this time, relentless. Like something was trying to force my attention, I grabbed it without thinking. A new message, unknown number. You can't ignore every surface. My chest tightened. I looked back at the TV. The reflection version of me tilted its head slightly. Then it raised its hand and knocked. From inside the screen. Tap, tap, tap. At the exact same time, I heard the same knocking behind me, from the motel wall. I turned slowly. The wall looked normal, but the sound came again. Closer, from inside. Then my voice whispered through the wall. Calm, patient. You left too early. I backed away. No, the voice continued. You were almost on the right side. My breathing became shallow. What do you want? A pause, then, to finish it. The TV flickered again. The reflection version of me was gone, but the screen wasn't empty. Now it showed a different angle, a narrow space, dark, cramped, like inside a wall. And in that space, someone was there, curled slightly, breathing hard. I leaned closer, my heart pounding. It was me, dirty, exhausted, eyes wide with panic, trapped between wooden beams and insulation, barely able to move. The version of me inside the TV looked up suddenly, like it heard something, like it knew I was watching. Then it crawled forward, closer to the screen, closer to me, and whispered something. I turned the volume up instinctively, static, then my voice, broken, desperate. It's not just the walls. The screen cut out. I dropped the phone, stepped back, my head spinning. Then I noticed something else, the mirror in the bathroom. I hadn't covered that one. I walked slowly toward it. The light above the sink flickered weakly. I stepped inside, looked at the mirror. For a moment, everything was normal. My reflection moved with me, blinking, breathing, real. Then the light went out. Total darkness. For a second, I saw nothing. Then a faint glow appeared. Not from the light, from the mirror itself. And inside it, I saw the motel room, but not the one I was standing in. The bed was in a different position. The TV mounted slightly higher, the walls closer together. And sitting on the bed was me, holding a phone, looking straight at the mirror, at me. The reflection version smiled slowly, then lifted the phone. The screen lit up, and I heard it, my ringtone, behind me, in the real room. I didn't turn around, I didn't want to, but I knew. The phone wasn't on the nightstand anymore. The sound was coming from the bed, from behind me. The reflection version of me in the mirror leaned closer and spoke. You keep answering from the wrong place. My throat went dry. What does that mean? The smile faded slightly. For this to work, both sides have to connect. The ringtone behind me grew louder, more urgent. Then the voice in the mirror whispered, "And you always pick the one where you survive." That didn't make sense. I am surviving. The reflection tilted its head. No. Then it pointed behind me. You're the one still connected. My heart stopped for a second. Connected to what? To which side? I forced myself to turn. Slowly. Carefully. The bed was empty, but the phone wasn't. It was lying in the middle of the mattress. Screen facing up, still ringing. Incoming call. Me, I stared at it. The call didn't stop. Didn't end. It just kept ringing. Waiting. The mirror behind me shimmered, and I heard my voice again. Closer now. Not from the mirror. From inside the room. You have to answer this one." I looked around. There was no one there, but the voice was clear, right next to me. "If you don't—" The knocking started again. From everywhere, walls, ceiling, floor, surrounding me, closing in. He comes through instead. The phone kept ringing. Louder, faster, like time was running out. My hands were shaking. I stepped closer to the bed. The screen glowed brighter, almost blinding. I reached out, paused, then picked it up, and answered. This time, there was no silence, no delay, just breathing, heavy, right in my ear. Then my voice, but not scared, not desperate, satisfied. "You finally got it right." The room shifted instantly. The walls tightened. The air compressed. Everything snapping into place. Wrong place. The mirror behind me cracked, splintering, and I saw it. For a second. Two versions of the room overlapping, one normal, one smaller, darker, closer. And standing in that version was something else. Not fully me. Not fully anything human. Watching. Waiting. Smiling. The voice on the phone whispered, "Now stay on this side." The call ended. The room went silent. Still. Normal. Too normal. I stood there, breathing slowly, trying to understand. Then I looked at the mirror. It was cracked, but still reflective. And inside it, I saw something that made my stomach drop. The reflection wasn't me anymore. It was the other version. The one from inside the wall. Standing in my place. Looking around. Learning the room. Becoming comfortable. Becoming real. I stepped back, but my reflection didn't. It stayed, smiling. Then it spoke, without sound. But I understood it anyway. "You're the one inside now." The cracks in the mirror deepened. And for a second, I saw behind it. The narrow space, the darkness, the place inside the walls, and inside that space, I saw myself, trapped, breathing hard, trying to move, trying to get out. I slammed the bathroom door shut. But it didn't matter, because now I understood something worse than anything before. The calls weren't warnings, they weren't tricks. They were choices. And every time I answered, I chose which side I stayed on. And tonight, at exactly 2:33 a.m., my phone is going to ring again, and I don't know anymore which side I'm supposed to pick. I didn't sleep, not even for a second. I sat on the edge of the motel bed, phone in my hand, staring at the screen like it was the only thing keeping me here, wherever here actually was. Because after the last call, I wasn't sure anymore. The room looked normal. The walls were still. The mirror cracked, but stable. Everything exactly where it should be. But it felt wrong. Like everything had already been decided, and I was just waiting for it to happen. Waiting for 2:33 a.m. At 2:32, the air changed, subtle, but enough. The silence deepened. The kind of silence that doesn't belong to a real place. My phone lit up in my hand. Before it even rang, the contact appeared. Not me, not unknown. Just one word. Final. My chest tightened. The phone started ringing, loud, sharp, too loud for such a small room. I stared at it. Didn't move, didn't breathe, because now I understood. This wasn't another choice. This was the last one. The walls creaked, soft at first, then louder, like something shifting behind them, moving closer. The mirror vibrated slightly on the bathroom wall, the cracks spreading deeper. The phone kept ringing, relentless. I looked toward the mirror and saw movement inside it. The reflection room wasn't stable anymore. It was breaking, collapsing, like it couldn't hold both versions anymore. And inside that broken reflection, I saw them. All of them. Every version of me I had seen before. The one in the wall, the one in the TV, the one trapped in the narrow space, all pressing forward, all trying to get through. My heart started pounding. This isn't real. But it was. Because the phone kept ringing, and the walls were moving closer, tighter, like the room itself was shrinking, forcing something out, or forcing something in. Then the voice came, from everywhere at once, all of them, layered. My voice, but broken into pieces. You took too long. You kept choosing wrong. You stayed where it was easier. The phone vibrated violently in my hand. The screen flickering, the words still there. Final. I stepped back. What happens if I don't answer? Silence. Then one voice, clearer than the others. Calm. The same one from before. The one that had almost sounded like me. You don't get to choose anymore. The mirror shattered. Not outward. Inward. Like something pulled it apart from the inside. Glass fragments suspended in the air. And behind them, there was no room, no reflection, just darkness, endless. And in that darkness, something moved. Not like a person, not like anything I could understand. Something that didn't need a face anymore, didn't need to pretend. Because now, it didn't have to. The phone stopped ringing. My heart stopped with it. For 1 second, everything was silent. Then, the call answered itself. The screen went black. No interface, no timer, just audio. Breathing, but not mine, deeper, slower, controlled. Then a voice. Not mine anymore, not even trying to be. You stayed long enough. The walls behind me split, not cracking, opening, like something pushing through soft material, hands, dozens of them, all mine, reaching, grabbing, pulling. I stumbled forward. The floor gave slightly under my feet, like I wasn't standing on something solid anymore. The room wasn't a room. It was a layer, thin, temporary, and it was breaking. I ran, toward the door. But the door wasn't where it should be. It never was. Not anymore. The hallway beyond it stretched infinitely. Every door slightly different. Every one of them mine. Every one of them wrong. Behind me, the hands were closer now, almost touching. The voice from the phone echoed everywhere. You learned how to listen. A pause. Now learn how to stay. I stopped, because suddenly, I understood. This was never about escaping, never about running, never about choosing the right room. There wasn't one. There never was. Every version led here. Every choice led here. The moment where there were no more versions left. Only the thing that connected them. The phone fell from my hand. The screen shattered. But the voice didn't stop. It was inside now. Inside my head. Inside everything. You're not replacing anything anymore. The hands reached me, gripped my arms, my shoulders, my face, cold, perfectly shaped like mine. And then, everything went dark. I woke up, in my apartment. My real one, the original. Everything normal. Everything quiet. No cracks. No mirrors. No movement. I sat up slowly, breathing hard, looking around. It's over, I laughed. Weak, relieved. Then my phone vibrated. I looked at the screen. One notification. Missed call. You 2:33 a.m. My smile faded. I opened the call log, scrolled, dozens of calls. All from me, all at the same time, all marked as answered. But I didn't remember answering them. I didn't remember anything after the hands. Then I noticed something else. The reflection in the black screen of my phone. It wasn't delayed. It wasn't wrong. It was perfect. Too perfect. It blinked before I did, smiled before I moved, and then it whispered, without sound. without movement. But I understood it anyway. "Now you answer for all of us." My phone started ringing again, and this time I didn't hesitate. I picked it up. And I answered. At exactly 2:33 a.m.,